Hey everyone, Ambizar here, and it has been officially announced that we are getting a new My Little Pony movie. But not just any movie, a live action My Little Pony movie.
You serious?
Yeah, I wish I could say I was more excited, but honestly, this is so far out of left field that I think the entire fandom is almost in a state of denial over the whole thing. So after this announcement, I thought I'd make a small wish list talking about my biggest hopes for the eventual movie. Just to be clear, I do not expect this movie to be good. The fact that the only thing we know about this movie is that it's going to be, quote, live action immediately puts my hopes in the gutter because, well, you know. But that doesn't mean it's impossible for the live-action MLP movie to not be trash. I mean, I've gushed on this very channel about how much I love the Sonic movie trilogy, but I feel like that series navigated a lot of minefields to somehow produce something quality. Mostly this one. Number 5, don't take place in the real world. So we're starting out with an obvious one, but also something that I feel is borderline unavoidable. I've heard a lot about how people predict this movie will have a super standard plot about ponies escaping from the magical world into ours, and how the ensuing hijinks will be about 90% of the movie's runtime. At the risk of going on a slight tangent, I personally think looking at G4 that there's a lot of reasons that it succeeded, but a big one was the setting it took place in. Magical creatures, in my opinion, are much more entertaining to watch when they're interacting with a magical world. That's not to say fish out of water situations can't be fun, quite the opposite. But those situations are so played out at this point, especially in live-action kids movies, that I'd really just like to see a new direction. The idea of a 3D CGI Equestria could be really cool if properly pulled off, but the words live action really make me think this movie's setting will just be Earth and that humans will have a prominent role in this movie. Speaking of which, number 4, don't feature normal humans. Again, I wouldn't bet money against this one, but come on. Admittedly, humans being in My Little Pony isn't exactly new. G1 featured prominent human characters, and we all know what happened with humans in G4, but I'm sorry, I can't be brought to care about boring human beings if I'm going to go out to see a movie about magical horses. While I'll personally die on the hill that Equestria Girls ended up being good overall, there's a reason the fandom collectively laid an egg back when it was first announced. G4, and to an extent G5, are essentially epic fantasies wrapped up within the medium of a children's cartoon. It's magical creatures with magical powers that also happen to be good three-dimensional characters, either going off on magical adventures or engaging in charming slice-of-life hijinks. Turning them into regular humans for the Equestria Girls series definitely took some of that magic away, no pun intended, but the characters and stories were still good enough that most of us managed to stay invested. But in the situation this movie will likely provide, having human characters alongside magical equines, especially when they're likely to be little girls given the source material, it just seems to me like it'd be hard to care about them beyond general empathy. In short, please Hasbro, let the magical horses do magical things in a magical place and do not drag humans into the conflict, because I don't know if you've seen the state of the world lately, but we tend to ruin things. Number 3, don't write a terrible villain. It feels weird to say, doesn't it? But honestly, after Opaline, and she was terrible, don't kid yourselves, I really just don't have it in me to sit through another really bad villain when it comes to this franchise. Sure, you could argue that all of G4's villains had their own problems, but you can't argue that they weren't all fun. Be it Discord's unique flavor of chaos, Chrysalis's epic reveal in a Canterlot wedding, or the ridiculously awesome battle between Twilight and Tyrek, G4's villains were mostly great, and G5 gave me virtually none of that. I guess Sprout was okay in the movie, but he was never really a serious villain at any point, and Opaline was downright incompetent to the point where it feels like an insult that she's canonically the downfall of Twilight's G4 Equestria. And while my love for Misty is boundless, I hesitate to even call her a villain since it was obvious from the get-go that she was set to be the 6th Chaos Emerald in the main cast. It honestly feels like we're in a bit of a renaissance for animated villains right now. I mean, DreamWorks has been pumping out iconic villains one after another for the past decade. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish had 3 great ones all by itself. But I have a sneaking suspicion that this movie's antagonist will probably be closer to Gargamel than any of those, and it honestly just makes me sad. Number 2, don't be the beginning of G6. So I haven't heard many people talking about this, maybe it's just because everyone knows something I don't, but I'm genuinely curious if this is going to end up being the launching point for the oh so mysterious Generation 6 that the fandom is currently waiting for. Forgive me for being a downer, but personally I'd very much prefer for G6 to not start with a live action movie of all things. In all fairness, G5 did a movie launch fairly well, but even that had its downsides. The fact that the voice cast for A New Generation was so star-studded that we knew none of them were coming back for the following series, the immediate and obvious animation downgrade and Make Your Mark that yes, did get better over time, but it still happened. I mean, if you're going to start a new generation of My Little Pony TV shows, maybe just start it with a TV show. I mean, I'm sure good or bad, if this movie is successful, it will get sequels, but when it comes to G6, please let it be mostly unrelated to whatever this live-action fiasco is going to end up being. Seriously, I know I've been extremely negative so far in this video, albeit for obvious reasons, but I just can't see this being a good starting point for a new generation. And whether it ends up latching onto G4 or G5 or just being its own thing, I'm hoping it at least stays separate from whatever comes next. And number 1, please release in theaters. Amazon has confirmed to be working on this movie, so it's a very real possibility that it just ends up releasing on Prime Video, but one thing is for absolute certain. No matter how bad this movie ends up looking, I will be watching it and I will be making content of it. So even if it does end up being a rainbow-colored CGI turd, it will be a million times more enjoyable to watch it in a movie theater with friends. Can you imagine if this ends up being in theaters during a pony convention? Even if it was the worst 90 minutes of entertainment ever put to screen, it'd probably still be a core memory in that kind of environment. While I don't necessarily expect to get that lucky, I am seriously hoping that this gets to see the big screen for better or for worse, because if Hasbro is going to subject me to this, the least they can do is do it in style. And that's it. Are you excited for the live-action MLP movie, or are you dreading it like the inevitable heat death of the universe? Let me know in the comments, and please like and subscribe for more pony content coming soon. I'll be uploading more as we learn more about whatever this movie will end up being, and I make content about the show too, both G4 and G5. So please like and subscribe to get notified when I do so, because it really helps with the all-powerful YouTube algorithm. Thank you for watching, my name is Ambazar, and I will see you in the next one.